Grief doesn't always look like you expect it to. It doesn't always come with tears or a breaking voice. Sometimes it's quieter than that. It sits low in your chest, a dull weight, easy to ignore until something brushes against it and reminds you it's there. You think about people you lost, not just the ones who died, the ones who moved away, the ones you don't talk to anymore, the ones who became strangers without meaning to. You don't always miss them in a loud way. Sometimes it's just a small ache when something reminds you of them. A song, a place, a smell, a version of you that existed when they were still around. You grieve time, too. Years that passed faster than you thought they would. Moments you didn't notice while they were happening. You look back and realize how much has changed, how much you didn't get to keep. You don't even know when it slipped away. It just did. There are versions of yourself you miss. The one who believed certain things would last forever. The one who was softer, or braver, or less tired. You don't know exactly when you became this version of you. You just know you're not the same. And sometimes that hurts. Grief shows up in ordinary moments. When you catch yourself reaching for someone who isn't there anymore. When you want to share something and then remember you can't. When you realize you don't have the same people in your life you once did. It feels strange because nothing looks wrong from the outside. Your life keeps moving. You keep doing what needs to be done. But inside, there's this quiet space, a place where something used to be. You don't know what to call it. You just know it feels empty sometimes. You don't always feel sad. That's the confusing part. Sometimes you feel numb. Sometimes you feel fine. And then suddenly something hits you out of nowhere and your throat tightens. You didn't plan to think about that. You didn't expect it to matter so much. You try to make sense of it. You ask yourself why this still hurts. Why you're still thinking about something from years ago. You tell yourself you should be over it by now. But grief doesn't listen to timelines. It doesn't care how long it's been. Inside, it feels like holding a lot of small goodbyes. Not one big one, just many quiet ones. To people, to moments, to parts of yourself you didn't realize you were losing at the time. You don't talk about it much. It feels awkward, hard to explain. You don't want to make anyone uncomfortable, so you keep it to yourself. You carry it quietly. This is grief, not just death, not just tragedy, but loss in all its soft shapes. And you're inside it now. Grief changes how you move through the world, even when no one can see it. You don't walk around crying. You don't talk about it all the time. But it shows up in small habits, quiet choices, ways you protect yourself without realizing you're doing it. You avoid certain places, streets you used to walk together, cafes you shared, songs you know will open something you're not ready to feel. You skip them. Not forever, just for now. You tell yourself it's easier this way, and it is, for the moment. You scroll through old photos sometimes, not often, just when you feel brave enough. You look at faces that feel far away now. You notice how young you looked, how hopeful, how unaware of what was coming. You stay there longer than you meant to, then you close your phone and sit quietly with whatever came up. You hold things in, stories you don't tell, memories you don't share. You don't want to bring the mood down. You don't want people to feel sorry for you. So you keep it light. You laugh when you should. You change the subject when things get too close. Grief makes you careful with new attachments. You don't lean in as quickly as you used to. You keep a little distance, just in case. You don't even fully know what you're protecting yourself from. You just know you don't want to lose again like that. Sometimes you cling to routines. The same coffee, the same seat, the same show before bed. It feels grounding, predictable. When so much changed without asking you, routine feels like something you can hold on to. Other times you do the opposite. You break patterns. You rearrange your space. You get rid of things, old clothes, old notes, objects tied to people you lost. Not in a dramatic way, just quietly, like you're making room for something, even if you don't know what. You find yourself thinking about the past more than you used to, replaying conversations, wondering what you would say now, imagining how things could have gone differently. You know you can't change it, but your mind still goes there. Grief also makes you softer in some ways. You notice other people's losses more, the pauses in their voice, the way their eyes change when they talk about something they miss. You recognize it, even if they don't name it. It makes you patient, with silence, with heaviness, with days that feel off for no clear reason. You've learned that feelings don't always need a reason. They just show up. You don't rush yourself anymore, at least not like before. You know now that some things don't move on your timeline, so you let them be where they are. Grief doesn't make you stop living. It just changes how you live. Quieter, slower, more careful. You're still here. You're just carrying more than you used to. Carrying grief quietly takes more than people realize, because even when you're not actively thinking about it, it's still there, in the background, like a low hum you've learned to live with. You don't notice it until you're suddenly tired for no clear reason, worn down after a normal day. That's grief working quietly. It costs you energy. You spend a lot of time holding yourself together, staying composed, acting normal, making sure you don't slip into memories at the wrong moment. That takes effort. Even when you're smiling, even when you're laughing, you're also managing what's underneath. It costs you presence. Sometimes you drift away in the middle of conversations. Someone is talking and you're nodding, but part of you is somewhere else, back in a memory, back in a time when things were different. You come back and realize you missed half of what they said. It costs you excitement. You still look forward to things, but not in the same way. There's always a quiet awareness that nothing lasts, that everything changes. You don't fully let yourself get carried away anymore. You enjoy things, but there's a softness to it now, like you're holding joy gently so it doesn't disappear too fast. It costs you your sense of safety. You used to believe some things were permanent. Some people would always be there. Some parts of life were solid. Now you know better. You've learned that everything can change. That knowledge stays with you. It makes you cautious, less certain. It costs you your old self, the version of you who didn't know this kind of loss, who moved through the world lighter. You don't hate who you are now, but you miss that version sometimes. You miss their innocence, their ease. It also costs you space in your heart. Grief takes up room. You carry people who aren't here anymore, moments that will never happen again. You make space for them inside you, and that means there's less room for other things sometimes. It costs you sleep on certain nights, when your mind decides to bring everything back, when you think about what you should have said, what you wish you'd done differently. You stare at the ceiling and let it play out again. Grief doesn't destroy you, but it reshapes you. You become someone who knows loss, someone who understands goodbyes, someone who carries memory quietly. And that weight stays, even on days you feel okay. Right now, the grief is still here. It didn't disappear while you were listening. You didn't suddenly make peace with everything you lost. It's still part of you. Quiet, familiar, sitting somewhere inside your chest. But you're noticing it differently now. Not as something that needs to be fixed, not as something you need to get over. Just as something that exists because you cared, because something mattered. You don't push it away, you don't pull it closer, you just let it be there. You feel your body where you are, your breath, the weight of yourself in this moment. You're here, still moving, still living, even with the memories, even with the people who aren't here anymore. Maybe there's a small pause, a moment where you're not thinking about what you lost, not replaying the past, just sitting, breathing, being here. It doesn't last long, but it happens, and you notice. Grief hasn't left, but it's not taking over this moment either. It's sitting beside you instead of in front of you. You can see it without it blocking everything else. You're not trying to be strong. You're not telling yourself it's all okay. You're not pretending it didn't hurt. You're just here with the truth that you lost things, that you miss them, that you still go on anyway. You don't know what this will look like tomorrow. That's not the point. Right now, you're just noticing that you're still breathing, still showing up, still here. Grief didn't ruin you. It didn't leave you untouched either. It changed you, and you're still here, carrying what you loved, carrying what you lost. This is where you are now, not healed, not broken, just here.